This week on Gran Turismo Daily Race A, we're in cars, and I decide to go lawnmowing. Daily Race B, I take a new line at the chicane at the Nurburgring, and in Daily Race C, well, I go for a spin at the Redbull ring in Group 3. Hello everyone, and welcome back to a Gran Turismo Weekly Race Guide here in 2025. Now, we're going to skip week 3, technically, in terms of the numbering, and go to week 4, because I finally accept it's week 4 in January, or in 2025. Obviously, we had the mixed week. I've now updated the numbers, so it goes 1, 2, 4. It'll be 4 thereafter. Now, we'll jump straight into this one then. We're at Tsukuba in the Go-Kart, and I'm not a fan of the Go-Kart. We're doing A-laps here. Good start with a full start check. Sports soft tyres and boppers, of course, on with these go-karts. They're not that fun to drive, if I'm brutally honest with you, because they're all a bit sketchy. However, we will still do this race. Now, if you don't want to do this race, you really don't care about it, there are some time stops there to jump to Daily Race B or C, respectively, because those races, well, they're kind of fun, to be honest with you, and I'm looking forward to showing you what happened in those. Now, with this one in particular, then, we've used this track 12 times. Only twice we've done the go-karts, and we last used this track on the 16th of December. Now, in terms of this combo, it's actually very different. The last time we did it was on different physics, and this one is much slower than the previous one, I found out, looking at my old lap guides. In terms of issues, very hard to control these cars, and oversteer under braking could cause some issues as well. Now, before we jump into this one, if you missed Pleb of the Week, you haven't missed it. I just didn't get it done in time yesterday on the Sunday, so it'll be out on Tuesday the 21st, so keep an eye out for that. And remember, if you have any funny moments, dodgy driving, or just weird stuff happening in Gran Turismo, make sure you submit them in the description down below. Let's jump into this first race then, our go-karts at Tsukuba. Right, start to the first one then. We got Shadow in pole, Hudson Franks in this one, German Kiwis there as well. And we're starting all the way back in P10. Now, I put traction control on just in case, but I will just state now, you do not need it as we get ready to start here. Now, you'll notice I'm on bumper cam. Don't be using this camera, and you're going to see why in a second, because I obviously jumped from one account to the other to get into this race. To do the time trial on my other account, so I can actually start the back and actually experience the racing. I come into here and I'm like, whoa, what's going on with this car? It feels insane. Well, it's super sensitive on bumper cam, so I go back to the camera I was using in time trial. This camera right here, technically it's cockpit camera, because you can see the steering wheel and adjust it accordingly. So we go into this left-hander then, and we just saw it down there. Someone's out wide there. Look at that radar, 4 arrows on there, plus mine. As we go into this right-hander, we turn in here, trying to carry some speed. And we get a bit of oversteer there, and we go off lawnmowing. Yes, that's us off. We come back on very safely. I will say that it's safe, because we have to just let it roll. Otherwise, we could spin out and just spear onto the track. And we come back in P12 and continue on here. We'll fast forward a little bit, because obviously I need to catch up now. Going into this right-hander, the hairpin here. And we've got Blue Racer there, having a bit of an issue on the hairpin. So we go up into P11. We'll have a look at the bloopers at the end to see what happened to Blue Racer there. With lap number 3, we're now in the thick of the action now. We've got GT Mouse Steve on our left-hand side. We've got Arkies up as well with the Lego machine. We'll call that a Lego machine then. As we go into this right-hander, they go side by side. I sort of back out of that a little bit. We continue out of this corner then. We are side by side here. It's 2 by 2, but you can only tell by the radar, because Gran Turismo, in its infinite wisdom, decides that we don't need a rear view camera up top, when in reality we really, really, really do. So I'm going to back out of this, noticing what's going to happen up ahead. 3 wide then they go in. We're back to the back of the pack. And unfortunately, Arkies goes off there, so we'll go back into P11. Blue Racer, GT Mouse Steve up ahead side by side as we go into towards turn number 1. Blue Racer goes a little bit deep here, and hopefully we get the run out this corner. Yes, we do indeed. That's P10. We have to get the run on Steve as well here. Looking around the outside of the pink machine as we go towards the hairpin then. As we're going to be careful on the grass there. A little bit of a wiggle, but we do manage to catch it. And again, it's just using the steering wheel on screen to really understand how the kart is reacting. That's why I'm on this camera right now. But it is hard to race on this camera, because you're not fully aware of what's going on. You're so focused on the steering wheel. Looking at the radar is very difficult here. As we get a good run on Steve down as we head towards the hairpin here before the back straight. We go on the brakes, leaving lots of space on the inside there. And Steve just gets a beautiful run there through the inside and maintains position for now. But Slipstream is quite strong in these karts. We go towards the right-hand side. I did want to duck my head down. I will tell you that right now. As we head towards the final corner, and in we go here. Are we going to get it? Oh, I think there was a slight bit of contact, but that was fine as we continue on through. Yes, we're up into P9. Now, if you do notice the tire temps down below, that's what the numbers are, by the way. They're off-center because I'm using a different camera, so I can only apologize for that. It's not something I can edit very quickly before the race. So through the right we go there. Radion getting it all sorts of wrong, but manages to catch it then. We have to compromise ourselves a little bit. We go towards the end of the lap here, where we stayed behind Radion and continue on to the start-finish straight to start lap number 6. They're in the Red Bull liveried race overall there. Oh, we got a huge smoke screen there. That's German Kiwi spinning around. We'll have a look at that one in the Bloopers to find out exactly what happened to the German Kiwi. But we gained 2 positions, 1 corner. We like that. So we're looking to try and catch up to the big pack up ahead. Then the 3 wide at the moment. Oh, somebody's side. That's Marasonic sideways there towards the right hand side. Looks like Marasonic did catch it. We're up into P5 now. And again, we're looking to try and catch up here. And we do that on the back straight then. So Shadow's just up ahead here. As the Frank goes towards the inside as we come through here. I carry a lot of speed here to try and get some momentum. Slight tag between the two there. I give Shadow a bit of a bump there. And look at what happens there. Shadow actually gets position because of that bump. You're very welcome, Shadow. You're very welcome for that assistance right there. Now, this race has got a 6 out of 10 in terms of the score. You can check out all the details down below in a pinned comment. It's not my favorite at all in terms of racing, but some of you do like karts, so you've got karts this week. In terms of a lap guide then, we cross the line and we look to start the lap in 6th gear. So as we look towards turn number 1, on the left-hand side there, you've got the soundproofing at the end of the catch fence. That is your brake marker. Now, I highly advise you take wide lines in this kart. Remember, small inputs. Otherwise, you do bigger inputs, you're going to spear the kart off because it'll just oversteer and exit and do all sorts. So you notice how wide I take this then. I turn in, I'm in 3rd gear, and then I start to accelerate out of the corner, and I try and keep the kart stable. The second it starts oversteering, just turn slightly into it, and hopefully it will go straight and you won't lose too much time. In towards the next corner then, up ahead, the end of the curb. You want to brake before you get to that. I did try and use the actual end of the curb there. It's a bit too late. Okay, now I want you to stay in 3rd gear for stability. You can drop to 2nd, and we actually used to do that in the previous physics, drop to 2nd in the car. But no, this time, just stay in 3rd gear, turn in, and then once you get on the inside, accelerate out, and then really use all of the track. You really have to use all the track in these karts, because if you don't, you're just going to oversteer and cause slides in the kart. And sliding a kart is not the fastest way. Now, the orange to white on the left-hand side there, that's just your turning marker. You don't need to lift. You can lift if you want to, but you don't need to lift for this corner. I'm in 4th gear right now. I will be going up to 5th gear mid-corner. There you go. And as I continue on through here then, I'm just trying to keep the kart stable. Very easy to get it wrong. You saw that in the race how they got it wrong there. Very easy to get it wrong there. So just make sure the steering stays very smooth and very small. This next corner, the hairpin, we've got the lamppost on the right. That is what I'm using. You can use the 50 board on the left if you want, but I'm using the lamppost on the right. As it disappears off the edge of my screen on the right side, I'm going to hit the brakes. Now, this is a 3rd gear corner again. Some people, I imagine, will try 2nd, but 3rd gear for stability. And notice there, again, I was turning left in the right-hander to make sure the kart stayed stable and trying to use the camber in the corner. It's all about keeping this kart straight. As long as it's straight and those rear wheels are planted on the floor, you will accelerate out the corner absolutely fine. This last corner then, you lift a little bit mid-corner here. You can drop to 5th gear. I do it in 6th for stability, but 5th gear is a tiny bit quicker. But even so, I still cross the line with a 59.6. So if you want to follow that lap, you can do. You can also check that lap out on the Delta app, of course, because I am partnered with Coach Dave Academy. And we'll see that at the very end. We jump to Daily Race B then. We're in Group 4 machinery at the Nurburgring. It's the sprint layout though. We're doing 6 laps, rolling start, racing hard tyres, and the bop is on. But you can adjust that brake balance if you want to. And I chose the Lamborghini Huracan Group 4 car because it's just the OP meta car in Group 4. It has been for a while now. Now, in terms of the statistics here for Daily Race B, we've used this track 6 times. Once with this car and track combo. Definitely not in the top 10 used combo. It's last used on the 21st of October. You do have to be careful of the chicane. It is a bit of a jump, and turn 1 can be dangerous because it's the main place to overtake on this particular combo. So you will have to send it at some stage. Let's jump into this one and let's see how many times I send it or whether I get sent on. Right, Race B. Who's in pole? Blue Racer in the Huracan. In fact, there's lots of Huracans. Mario Sonic chose the Alfa Romeo and actually said in the lobby, unfinished business. If you're enjoying this video, as always, give it a like, subscribe to the channel to stay in touch with all the latest content. And we get the run on max power here in that Genesis G70, but with the old Hyundai livery. It's not old, actually, just a different brand. We send it down the inside, nearly rear-ended shadow there, but there was a gap, so I went into it. And we're 3 wide at one point, but we do get the position from max power then as we go into this left-hander. Side-by-side action. This is always going to happen at the Nurburgring, especially turn 1. You've got to place your car now accordingly and make sure you are looking at that rear-view mirror if you've got one, or the radar, because there's a lot of cars absolutely everywhere, and that will happen every single race without fail. We continue on out there. P13 Black goes towards the right-hand side. Realised that gap was closing, so I went towards the left-hand side here. And as we go into the hairpin, I slow it down, sort of take the inside line. Mass Power looking around the outside if you can get that done, and doesn't, so we remain in P13 for now as we head towards the left-hander. Now, P13 Black saw was taking inside lines, was like, okay, this is my chance. Round the outside, and that's what I'm going to try here. As we head towards the right-hander then, we get it done, dusted, past the Ferrari 458, which is nice to see. I used to be my go-to Group 4 car for those who are new to the channel. And what we're looking for here is the chicane braking. But you may have just noticed in the rear view, and I did sort of open up the corner there, but unfortunately they did go way too deep into that corner. So I decided to take the chicane and hope that it didn't reset me. It didn't. And even better than that, I didn't even get a penalty. The game actually saw that I was hit. I had to take evaded action, and the game didn't penalise me. That is good. They need to make sure that happens permanently. I have no idea why it didn't happen this time, or why it worked this time, should I say. But it did. So well played, Gran Turismo. It was left we go. There's some contact up ahead. Not sure what's kicking off here. It looks like Radion is waiting up for that driver up ahead. So we go around the outside of Radion. I'm looking to get around the outside of Pill as well. We do indeed. So we're up into P10 with another Lamborghini on the right side, with it being the Metacar. He said it round the outside here, and we do get past them. We leave some space on the inside. They hit me on exit there, and then they don't give any room on exit. Now, I was a bit, you can see there, I was putting my hand up, sort of like, what are you doing sort of thing. I wasn't happy, but without getting the bloopers, because that's my live race reaction, and you know I always analyze stuff after the race, just to see if I was right to be angry, right not to be angry, maybe it was my fault. And I always like to look at it from another perspective. Here we go, though. Side-by-side racing as we head up towards the chicane. So I know it wasn't dirty. It was just maybe bad driving. Or it was perfectly reasonable. It could be. Anyway, onto the brakes we go there. Christoph looking to maintain position. Does as well. That's a beautiful defense from the Polish driver. And we are in P10 still right now. We continue on to the start finish straight here, though. And remember what I said right at the start. The introduction of this race. This corner is the main place to overtake because you can send it down here. And when you get it right, like this, it's a perfect overtake. You can send it. Sending it or dive bombing down the inside is absolutely fine as long as you make it. Up ahead, we've got Greenland then. Trump hopefully not trying to steal your account as well as the land. But here we go down the inside. And this is where I didn't make it. So I tried to release the brakes a little bit to make sure I got past the GTR rather than hit them. But Greenland nailed that perfectly. Sort of went too deep and just took the inside as normal. Well played to you as we continue on through here. I'm making American politician jokes here. I really shouldn't because it might kick off. But take it as a joke, folks. Take it as a joke as we continue on through here. And up towards the right-hand side we go then. And Greenland saw exactly what I was going to do. That was awesome, awesome, awesome car placement. You knew exactly what I was going to do. Go to the inside. You slowed it down enough there where I couldn't really do much. Now, I still managed to get alongside here on the inside line. But the defense on the previous corner was spot on. Oh, so good. So good. Really well played with that one. Well, lap number 5 here. We're looking to catch up to next pack, where there's 2 penalties up ahead. We've got the French driver, Slider, going slide in. And my word, my heart panic there. The ghosting system works. Gran Turismo's having a good week this week. It's working well so far. Continue on through here then. Shadow taking a penalty up ahead. Shadow's going to look to defend this. Of course he is, because we're heading towards the chicane and going to be on the inside line. But I go towards the right-hand side, hoping I will be far enough past here. And as we get to the chicane, I am far enough past. But we do go side-by-side accordingly. Beautiful racing there with Shadow, and I really did enjoy that one. So, Shelty, nice to see Shelty in this one. The final lap of the race, and we have caught up there. And Shelty picking an unusual car in the Evo, and it's not too bad. All-wheel drive. All-wheel drive is the dominant drivetrain at the moment in this Group 4 category of car as we head towards the right-hander here. Shelty gets it a bit wrong there. Went too wide on the left. Compromise the right here. We're going to have a run on the Lancer Evo then as we head towards the chicane. I usually, you can see me trying to duck there for some reason, I usually would advise against going side-by-side in the chicane. However, I know Shelty's there, and Shelty knows I can race as well. Or I like to think Shelty knows I can race. So as we come into here then, we give each other space there. Shelty unfortunately gets a really bad bump in the chicane, but look who actually nails it there. Shadow saw what was happening, put it back a little bit, went for the run through the chicane. 2 for 1 for Shadow. Well played there, Shadow. Really great overtaking move, that one. We come home in P6 in the end. The infamous P6 here. Now, in terms of the scores on the doors, we're going to put them up right now. And a 6.5 out of 10 for this one. Again, all the details down below. This race, you can have some good fun, but it will involve some door banging, and there will be some very aggressive moves in that one, I am sure. So in terms of how to do this, on the right-hand side there, you can see +5 brake balance I'm using for this Lamborghini. It can handle it here. Wouldn't advise +5 normally in this one, but yeah, it seems fine. So as you're headed towards turn number 1, what I would advise here, you got a piece of tarmac on the left-hand side. As it goes to grass and meets the circuit as well, Really good brake marker, this one. Really clear here on chase cam as well. That is my brake marker for turn number 1. And when I talk about brake markers, it's literally I either use it as distance, so I'm just referencing it as distance, or I'm braking at it. They are my markers. So you point out all these markers, like this one right here, and that's my marker to either turn in or do whatever. Now, in this particular one, I'm going to dab the brakes and lift off a little bit to get the car in. In terms of turn 1 that we've just done, by the way, it was first gear out the corner. It's all-wheel drive, remember, so just plant your foot and the car will go. So for this one, left-hander, tarmac on the right side, or run off. You notice there, we let the car roll a little bit. And what we're looking for is that tower there. It's also got Portaloo there as well in the center. But literally, as that heads towards the center of my screen, I'm going to start accelerating. Now, I've accelerated before it got to the center here because I'm trying to get on the leaderboard. You don't necessarily have to do that. Just be patient. Wait for it to get to the middle of the screen and you will guarantee make it out the corner. Notice I even had to lift there because I accelerated a bit too early. And I literally called it myself. Now, down towards this left-hander. Very difficult corner to get right here. So the end of the green is what I was using in this particular Group 4 car. There's a lamppost on the left you can use as well. But even so, here, you want to brake and aim towards the corner. Don't brake in a straight line for this one. Well, aim towards it and then brake in a straight line. And then release it very quickly. Get over towards the left-hand side. We then jump to second gear. We lift off a little bit, cut the inside, and then we run out wide. Now, I want to come back on the circuit very quickly here. I kept getting random penalties for some reason, but not in this particular session. It was very odd. But even so, we come towards the hairpin then for the right-hander, the sprint layout. Now, we've got the 100 board or the start of the curb. Now, I highly advise you brake a bit earlier for this one. It's very easy to use the the start of the curb and brake a little bit deeper and try and V it. But I think a tighter line is better for this hairpin. So that's what I highly advise you do. Notice we're trying to keep it nice and tight. Now, you've got 2 roads here. We just passed the first one. The second one is an accelerated marker. Again, what is a marker? I look for it. When I see it, I hit the accelerator. So when it's roughly about there, I hit the accelerator and I can go out the corner. This improves my consistency. It's why I use all these markers all the time. I can stay consistent. I can then look at improving individual corners and my lap time comes down. We come towards this left-hander. Now, we've got the sector line there that you can use. Alternatively, we've got marshals on the right-hand side. Bill, Brian, and Rory. We'll call Rory today. Oh, we said Steve. Rory, Steve, and Brian. There we go. So there on the right side, you've got the sector line there. Use either of these as markers. You want to dab the brakes and turn in. Notice there, I'm slowing the car down. I accelerate and get over towards the left-hand side as quick as possible. You got another marshal there, okay? And that one is not somebody I use, but it's a reference there you can use. What I use on the right side. So the tarmac goes to grass. I use that as a reference. I get as far left as possible. I dab the brakes and I turn in. And I let the car roll initially a little bit. And I let the car roll. Now I start accelerating. The car started to turn nicely there. And I know I'm going to make the corner. A bit of a tricky one to get right there because you will understeer it off quite a few times. But you will get used to it. The final, well, it's not the final brake marker. We've got last turn, Tidge, your weapon. The chicane, the 100 board, or as the drainage goes out on the right side, or the Zurich sign on the left with the giant green girder there. They are your brake markers for the chicane. Now, for this one, you can yeet it quite a bit in the Lamborghini because it's all-wheel drive. What I want to do there is cut the left, straight line the right a little bit there, then turn right after it, and I should make it absolutely fine. If you turn hard as you go over the jump, the car's weight will shift so much towards the left, it'll just spear off right, okay. The final corner on the left-hand side, we have the orange painted barrier, or the marshals there on the left-hand side. They are your brake marker for this final corner. I want you to point towards the corner a little bit when you go on the brakes. And then when you want to turn more, release the brakes. And you can see there, I'm keeping a nice tight line. I start to accelerate out the corner. No dramas in this car. All-wheel drive once again. We head towards the line. I think this was a 30.888. I thought it was kind of funny, like lucky. So I kept the 888 there. And that is it for Nurburgring Sprints. We jump to the Red Bull Ring where I'm in that Genesis. We're in Group 3 machinery here at Red Bull Ring. 11 laps, grid start, which is unusual. I don't think we've ever had a grid start for Group 3. Racing soft tyres, you do have to pit at least once. And there is tuning available for this as well. Bop is on, but you can change the suspension, differential, and the brake balance. In terms of the Red Bull Ring, it's quite a common combo, this one. We've used this track 13 times, 8 times for this track and car combo. It is joint second in terms of top 10 used combos, and we last used it on the 2nd of December, this circuit. Now, issues here, when there's grip, it normally equals door banging and racing, very close racing, so do expect that, especially with the grid start. And the pit lane entry can be a bit tricky, but I pointed out a brake marker for you in that one, so do look out for that in the race. I chose the Genesis. Let's jump into this one and let's find out exactly what happens. Right, who's on pole then? Well, we don't know because I made a mistake this morning with recording. Anyway, here we go. We're back in the game and we kick off. Our traction control is on 1. Brake balance is on +5 here in the Genesis. We just turned traction control off and we're already kicking off here. hold the handbrake at the start of that one as well. Remember, holding the handbrake is a bit quicker. Into turn one we go. Very messy, as you can see. Lots of cars absolutely everywhere. It is absolute carnage here in terms of the Red Bull Ring. And I will explain that I did have a microphone issue this morning and recording, and that's why it suddenly started out the blue, because I had to set it up really fast. Anyway, in towards the first braking zone here. We're still 2 wide, 3 wide as we go into it. All very close. I'm expecting absolute carnage in turn 1 and turn 2 this week. And remember, if you do experience any of it, send it in plebs of the week. You know, the form is down below. It's really, honestly, I analyse stuff. We look at bad driving. If it's really purposeful punching, I look to try and report them. But bad driving, we just analyse and see what we could have done better, etc. as we go into this right-hander. It's to look for the dirty driving, because a lot of you say there's tons of it out there, and I don't really experience that much of it. So I want to see it to understand how bad of a situation or problem it actually is. Right, let's get back into this racing then. Through the left and right we go here. I'm going to take my penalty, a 0.5 second penalty. Bembo had a 3-second one, so I think was involved in some turn 1 shenanigans. But again, we'll have a look at that after as we go into this right hand. Then we've got Kemp up ahead here as we go towards the final corner here at Red Bull Ring. So 11 laps with this one. You do have to pit at least once, so there is some strategy there as well. Kemp looking for the move on Mario Sonic here as we go on towards the brakes. Kemp still looking down the inside here. Does he get it stopped? Does it indeed? Beautiful effort here from Kemp in that Nissan GTR. Try around the outside here. Is it going to work? Not quite, but I do get a good run in the end. Look at that. The throttle and acceleration of this Genesis really comes into play then. As we head down here, you can see me nodding my head a bit here, thinking, yes, okay, here we go, making progress as we enter this right-hander. Nearly to the back of Mario Sonic, but I get it stopped beautifully here. We continue on out of the corner, and there's the slightest of taps there from the GTR, and I go around. TCR Kemp taking out TCR Tidge. What's going on? The team is over. No, I'm joking. We all make mistakes, and we'll have a look at that properly in the bloopers, whether it's my fault or Kemp's. But thank you so much for waiting, Kemp, as always, showing the TCR way. To the right we go then, and we've got Sammy Snake there off. We've got the Greek off. Maybe they had an accident together. I'm not too sure, but we gained 2 spots from that. Bembo's got another 1 second penalty. Bembo's not having fun here at all at the moment. What's that, 4 seconds total so far? Bembo lets me go, or maybe he lost the rear. I'm not actually sure there. But we're up into P12 here, and we are looking to catch up to everybody ahead. Now, a couple of people come in the pits on lap number 5. I reckon from that 4 you can pit, so if you're trying to avoid traffic, etc. Lap 4, lap 5, lap 6, maybe even lap 7 if you want to push to try and overcut somebody is there. But remember, overcutting is hard in Gran Turismo, the way the Tyre multipliers work. Aris up ahead then in the Porsche 911. We get a much stronger run on that one. Lap number 6. This is about where I expect people to come in here. And I go on the inside. Now, Aris obviously wants to go in the pits. I knew I would go in the pits as well. Radion indicates go in the pits. And we all come in. Now, I'm just going to stop it here quickly. It's under a brake marker for the pits. You see the Austrian flag on the left-hand side. When you get to that marker there, where it turns to grass, just tap the brakes a little bit and chuck it in, and you should make the pit entry absolutely fine. Notice what I do there. I actually catch up to Radion a little bit here and actually get a better acceleration in. Looks like I do a driver change as I jump into the rig there. That's me trying to fix my microphone still as we continue on out. And I did fix it. So the second half of this race, if there's any shorts, they will be active. Otherwise, none from the start, unfortunately. Right, here we go then. Out the pits we go. Right behind Radion. So you can see there, because I went in a bit quicker, I come out a little bit quicker as well. It's a very odd thing that Gran Turismo has, but it does exist apparently. And you can see I did it right there. So Radion deciding where to go there. A little bit of a wiggle. Nothing major here as we go down the inside of Radion onto the brakes we go as we look to stop the car. Side-by-side racing. Beautiful stuff. We get on the power extremely early. This Genesis is so fast at accelerating, and we're up into P9. So we managed to get back into the fight then, even though we had that incident earlier on with Kemp. Get a massive run here on Mario Sonic out the last corner. I would normally advise against going for an overtake in towards turn 1, but I had such a run here. I'm already past at this moment in time, so all I have to do is slow the car down and make sure I get it stopped, and that should be absolutely fine. We'll lose a tiny bit of time. Nothing major, though, to Muscafi up ahead. Adler's coming out the pits here as they go join right in the thick of the action, does the German driver. But Muscafi has a 0.5 second penalty, so as long as I stay close to the German up ahead, hopefully I should get the position from Muscafi as well as we go onto the brakes. And I'm sort of half defending here, keeping the outside line a little bit free there for Mario Sonic if he needed it. But even so, it's still status quo for now. Get towards that penalty line then there. Muscafi takes it, so loses 1 and 2 positions. Going to be able to fall in behind me there then. So you do have to be careful of track limits here, especially turn 1. It's very common to get penalties there. Just make sure you stay on the curb. And I will show that in the lap guide as well. When I said about overtaking turn 1, this is a situation where I wouldn't be ahead at this moment in time, so I stay behind Adler in this situation. Because I'm not ahead, I'll stay behind here. I won't lose as much time because I'll have to actually send it a little bit to make sure I get past. That slows us down massively so, and you can see there, we actually don't lose out that much. I was hoping to get a better run out. This is a lap later where we do get a better run out this time. Hoggy, Ramir, De Adler, they're all fighting. I can see what's going to happen here, so I sort of back out of this one, let them go for it, and hopefully claim the reward. So they go 3 wide into this corner. They all make it as well. We come out of this corner 4 wide, trying to get on the inside here as we continue on. Hoggy got the best run there. Slight tap here from Ramir. Sort of pushes me off the track there. I wasn't too happy with that one. So you see me flashing away there. Maybe they didn't see it because of the radar. Not too sure. Well, look at the bloopers as well, of course. And that's actually a TCR member as well. But again, people make mistakes. It always happens. You see my live reaction on show right now. I always show my live reaction. I don't try and hide my live reactions. But they're on show, and then we look at them accordingly afterwards, and we'll see exactly what happened. Still some hard fights going on here. To Adler on the inside of Ramir here then, as we head towards the next turn, going in towards this left-hander, and they managed to, well, Adler gets the position. I am, unfortunately, still in P7. Not what I wanted. So, final lap. Here we go. Can we get some positions here? Hoggy's still fighting up ahead then. The Porsche does lose out in a straight line, and that's where this Genesis comes into play. I send it down the inside. I do get it stopped there. I'm not sure they actually saw I was on the inside in that situation. But even so, we come out the corner, still side by side. They just get ahead here then as we continue on down. The sends will happen into that corner. As I always say, if you are going to send it, you just have to make the apex. You make the apex, it's absolutely fine because the car's there, the opportunity was there, you managed to make the corner, there's no issues there. If you go too deep and you hit a car and they don't have enough space in the exit, arguably, to me, that is too much and you have to get the position back. If you miss the apex and have just sent it anyway, I still think that's a bit too much in my opinion, but it is what it is. Slight contact in this left-hander, nothing major, still racing hard here with Ramir as we leave that corner. We go towards the next one and we finally get up into P6. Of course, I'm going to come P6 again. What other position do I ever come in these races now then? We will fast forward a little bit here, going to the last couple of corners, then through we go. We head towards the line, and it is what it is. Shadow there with a race victory after some of the moves previous. Absolutely fair play. But remember, Shadow did this race first. We do race C, then race B, then race A. Now, in terms of the race score, 7 out of 10 there. This race, for me, is very good. You got strategy, you got all sorts in there. Of course, it's common combo, so it doesn't really gain a point there. So people are asking what a 10 out of 10 is. I've talked about that before. Basically, hit all the criteria down below, and you're going to get a 10 out of 10 race. Arguably, this could be more if I didn't include the common combo situation, but it is what it is. It's a part of the scoring system. +5 brake balance in the Genesis, right hand side. You can see that there. And in front of you, the 100 board or the 100 line. They are your brake markers for turn 1. Now, originally, I was actually using all of the circuit going towards the left-hand side, but I was finding it was making the car slip a bit too much on the rear. So, arguably, stay on the circuit here. Hit the curb on the inside. Be careful on exit there, okay? And you can see, this is the very limit. I am literally on the curb by a pixel. So you need to make sure you stay on the red and white curb. And if you go over it, you're going to get a penalty, unfortunately. So make sure you stay on it if you can. I stayed on it by a pixel. I survived by a pixel. We continue on towards the next turn. I was actually expecting a 0.5 penalty to appear, actually, in real time. So we head towards the 100 board. And it's always the 100 board here at Redbull Ring. I've done these track guides many times here for Group 3. You can also use the marshals on the right side or the big block. Grey block, that's there. Square block thing. I've no idea what that actually is. But you can use that on the right side or the 100 board. Either of those as brake markers. Brake in a straight line. Drop all the way down to first gear. You may want to short shift to second in some cars. In the Genesis, you don't. You just want to make sure you don't hit the limiter in first gear on exit. So you want to shift quite quickly when you get towards the limit there. We boot it down now towards the next right-hander. Can anyone guess what the brake board is that we're using? Yeah, it's 100 board. It's right there. It's very obvious and clear. But you're braking a tiny bit earlier than the other 100s. It's just a bit before because you're braking downhill. And remember, if you're braking downhill, you're going to brake that a little bit further. And that's what we're doing right here. So we use that as a brake marker. Brake in a straight line. And then when you want to start turning, start to release the brakes. And there we go. We start to release. Using the brake a little bit more there. We accelerate out of the corner. Be careful power oversteer on that corner. That is a very common thing to happen in Group 3 machinery. We head over towards the right hand side, and you were wrong if you said the 100 board. We're now using the 50 board or the 50 line. I'm actually braking just before I get there. The reason for this, I like to keep a nice tight line for this corner. Some people like to go a bit wider and attack it a bit more, but I don't. I like to bring it back a little bit, but use that as a marker. So in this case, you might brake at it, or in my case, you brake just before it. It's a distance thing. So we continue on through here. Third gear, be careful on exit. You have to stay on the red and white curving, otherwise you get a track limit penalty. And as the short circuit meets the full circuit, right there, the whites joins together. That is your brake marker for this next left-hander. You can now use a bit more of the circuit as well because you're using a bit of the short circuit to get a better angle at the corner. That's why I'm taking this line right now. So what we're going to do, hit the brakes. We let the car come in. Just trail braking a little bit there. Once you clip the curb, accelerate out the corner. Try not to get the oversteer like I did right there. And continue on to the final 2 corners. You can breathe a little bit here as well. So on the left-hand side, we've got some boards here. But I actually used that marshal box there with no marshals in. Must be on strike or something. But literally on the left-hand side there, we're going to hit the brakes just before we get to it. What you want to do is you want to clip the curb on the inside, okay, when you go through this corner. If you don't, you're going to understeer off, out, and you are going to get track limits on the exit. So I try and clip the curb on the inside. There we go. Accelerate the second you do that. And notice here, we make it quite easily. You have to stay on the red and white curbing. The final brake marker at the end of the Austrian flag, you can see it right there, the red, white, red, because we are in Austria at the Red Bull Ring. That is my brake marker. I brake just before I get to that. You can see where that is on chase cam. Arguably, chase cam is a bit better because it's the top of the car meets it. And as we come in here, really use and abuse the inside of the corner and then accelerate towards the line here. This was a 127.0. 26 is easily possible. This was with a default setup as well. You can do it with a default setup, so just keep that in mind. Here's what happened to Blue Racer in Daily Race A then. This is the bloopers. As we go to here, it's just a tiny bit of a contact there. And on the brakes, it just shifted the weight of the car a bit too much. Nothing major there. It's just a mistake in the grand scheme of it. Triple board, German Kiwi then. Through the right we go. Just a tiny bit of a tag there. Again, nothing major in these karts. You see Matt's power in there. The shadow as well. A little bit of contact. And this is where the radar and the rear view would come in nicely. But unfortunately, Kiwi is the victim in that one. Just got sandwiched. Sandwiched completely. And unfortunately, it's going to lose a load of positions. So on board Sammy Snake Racing then as we head towards the chicane. And what's going to happen here? Oh yes, so they just missed the braking slightly. You can see that they're trying to get the car stopped. I did leave some space on the inside. Wasn't quite enough there. It was just a bit too late on the brakes. Again, just a small mistake. And we call it bad driving because it is a mistake. It is what it is. You know, you can't do anything more than what they did right there. So here's the Polish driver. As soon as we come through here, they're accelerating and sort of understeering it into me there. I would argue they should have lifted a bit more in my opinion. So I think it was right to be a bit frustrated with that one. Triple ball Bembo for Daily Race C here then as we head towards turn number 1. And what happens here? Oh, Bembo into back of Shelty. TCR is over. Everyone's taking everyone. No, I'm joking. We all made mistakes. That was a mistake from Bembo and he pays for it with a 3-second penalty. Bembo's not dirty in that situation. It's just a mistake. Right, here we are on TCR Kemp as we go through this right-hander. So accelerates out. Oh, just straighten the steering up a tiny bit to make sure they didn't power oversteer there. Again, small mistake. Waits there and then we continue on racing. Not dirty driving, because I see a lot of people say dirty driving some stuff and it really isn't. It's just a case of a mistake, and mistakes do happen, and the lower your driver rating, the more mistakes happen, and sometimes a mistake can look like dirty driving and it really isn't, like the Sammy Snake one at Nurburgring Sprint in the Lamborghini. Greek driver there gets it all wrong at turn 1. This is going to be a very common thing you're going to see this week, so they get it wrong here, and Sammy Snake on the very same lap, because I actually jumped to Sammy Snake first here, goes through turn 1. The Greeks there going off already. Sammy says, I'll join you, mate. There we go. I've spotted T by the barrier. And unfortunately off as well. Right, who are we on board next? Oh, yeah, this is on the straight here. So you can see that they all make it round. So really clean driving from absolutely everybody here. Hoggy gets an insane exit there, being MR car. And as we continue on here, it's just, for me, that's ping distance. Okay, so I reckon on Niko's screen, sorry, I can't speak now. I reckon they were ahead, but actually the server said, no, you weren't ahead. And that's why there was a slight bit of contact there. So obviously, in that situation, you wouldn't be happy. You'd think they're pushing you off, but it's just ping distance, so nothing major. Right, this send on the inside. Yes, I'd argue that is fair. Yes, it's contact, but that's where the radar needs to be used in that situation, so that's all good. We're still having a good race here with TCR Ikoa as we continue on down. And it's what Plebs of the Week is for as well. It's what we do in Plebs of the Week. We have a look at it and we say what was wrong, what was right. Is it a mistake? Is it really dodgy driving? I'll share my opinion if it's really dirty driving and say stop doing it as we continue on. Now, this week's Pleb of the Week. So, obviously, it wasn't on Sunday because I was at a family event as we're going to this left-hander. Again, this is all fine. It's just racing. It didn't happen this week on Sunday because I was at a family... Well, I went to see some family. It's going to happen on Tuesday. So, make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss that. I will share the previous week's one there, and I will actually then show, hopefully, this week's a little bit later on. Do check out my partners down below. Fanatec, use the link down below. Coach Dave Academy, you can compare your laps. And GT Amiga as well. If you want a rig, use code Tidgney at checkout. You get a discount there as well. Thank you so much for watching, as always, and I hope to see you in another video or live stream again very soon.